Yellowstone Eruption. Can scientists predict when it will blow? When most people think of active volcanoes, they probably picture something like Mount Vesuvius or Mount St. Helens, both of which are located in the United States. However, there is another volcano that towers above all of these and others like it. It's called the Yellowstone Super Volcano. It's not so much a mountain as it is a massive caldera. The last time it blew up was 640,000 years ago. And since then, its activity has been sporadic at best, and long overdue at worst. Scientists have been trying to figure out when it will blow again for some time now and just how destructive it will be. They may finally have an answer. Keep watching to find out what they found out about this beast of a mountain. Yellowstone National Park is one of the most beautiful places on Earth. It's home to thousands of species of plants and animals. It's also home to the world's largest active volcano. The park itself sits on top of what is known as the Yellowstone Caldera, a massive supervolcano that is so large it spans parts of 3 states. The caldera itself is actually 3 different volcanoes, the North, Middle and South Yellowstone caldera. While they do occasionally erupt separately, they usually erupt together, which is why they're considered a single supervolcano. The last time the Yellowstone supervolcano erupted was more than 500,000 years ago. The eruption was so powerful that it left behind a massive crater that is now home to the Yellowstone Lake. But the supervolcano doesn't seem to want to stop there. It continues to release steam and gases from its vents, indicating that the magma chamber beneath the park is still very much active. Most recently, the US Geological Survey reported increased earthquake activity near the volcano. According to the USGS, there were nearly 2,000 earthquakes in the area over the course of a year, with the strongest being a magnitude 4.8 quake in June. All this activity has led many to wonder when the next eruption will occur. Yellowstone National Park has been the site of several major volcanic eruptions in the past. The oldest of these dates back to the Pleistocene epoch, around 2.1 million years ago. This eruption, known as the Huckleberry Ridge eruption, was one of the largest in Earth's history, unleashing about 2,800 cubic kilometers of ash and pumice. However, the true beginning of the Yellowstone supervolcano can be traced back even further. Between 20 and 13 million years ago, a series of smaller volcanoes built up in the same area. These included the Mesa Falls, Lava Creek and Cathedral Peaks eruptions. Together they formed what is now the Yellowstone Caldera. But the most recent and perhaps most famous eruption of Yellowstone occurred about 640,000 years ago. This event, known as the Lava Creek eruption, was one of the largest in Earth's history, second only to the Toba super eruption in Indonesia. The Lava Creek eruption unleashed about 2,500 cubic kilometers of ash and pumice, covering an area of more than 2,000 square kilometers. It's this eruption that formed the Yellowstone caldera as we know it today. The Yellowstone supervolcano is located in a seismically active region known as the Yellowstone hotspot. This hotspot is a plume of hot rock rising from deep within the Earth's mantle. As the North American tectonic plate moves over the hotspot, it melts the rock above it, creating magma that fuels volcanic activity. The magma chamber beneath Yellowstone is estimated to be about 40 by 55 miles. It's unclear exactly how much magma is in the chamber, but it's thought to contain enough magma to produce an eruption of about 2,400 cubic kilometers. While Yellowstone is technically considered a supervolcano, it hasn't erupted in such a way for hundreds of thousands of years. In fact, the last few eruptions have been relatively small by comparison. For example, in 1885, a small eruption at Yellowstone's Upper Geyser Basin produced a lava flow that covered an area of less than 1 square kilometer. Similarly, the most recent eruption at Yellowstone's Norris Geyser Basin occurred in 1985 and produced a lava flow that covered an area of less than 0.4 square kilometers. So while Yellowstone is technically capable of producing super eruptions, it appears to be in a period of relative quietude. However, this may not always be the case. There is evidence that suggests that Yellowstone could be due for a major eruption. One of the main concerns with Yellowstone is the potential impact of an eruption on the surrounding area. An eruption of the same magnitude as the 1885 eruption could produce a lava flow that extends more than 32 kilometers from the vent. In addition, an eruption column could reach heights of up to 25 kilometers and produce pyroclastic flows that extend up to 11 kilometers from the vent. These pyroclastic flows could pose a significant threat to the surrounding area, destroying everything in their path. In addition to the immediate effects of an eruption, there would also be far-reaching consequences. Ash and debris would be thrown into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and disrupting global climate patterns. Furthermore, an eruption of this magnitude could cause widespread crop failure and disrupt food supplies. The economic impact would be devastating, with billions of dollars in property damage and lost revenue. In light of the potential risks, it's important to understand the warning signs of an impending eruption. Scientists monitor Yellowstone closely for any signs of increased activity. This includes monitoring seismic activity, ground deformation, and changes in gas emissions. If any of these indicators suggest that an eruption is imminent, authorities would likely issue an evacuation order for the surrounding area. Now let's get back to our video. Despite its potentially devastating consequences, there is some good news. Scientists have developed sophisticated models that can simulate the behavior of volcanoes, allowing them to better predict the likelihood of an eruption. By studying past eruptions and analyzing data from various monitoring instruments, scientists can identify patterns and trends that indicate when a volcano may be due for an eruption. This information can then be used to develop early warning systems that give people living near volcanoes time to evacuate if an eruption is imminent. One of the most important things scientists look at when trying to predict volcanic eruptions is the frequency of earthquakes. Volcanoes are often associated with seismic activity, and the frequency and intensity of earthquakes in the area can be an indicator of underlying volcanic activity. If there is an increase in the number of earthquakes in the area, it could mean that magma is moving beneath the surface and that an eruption is on the horizon. Another important thing to look out for is changes in the shape of the volcano. As magma builds up beneath the surface, it can cause the shape of the volcano to change. Using satellite imagery and other remote sensing technologies, scientists can track changes in the shape of the volcano over time. Any sudden or significant change in the shape of the volcano could be an indication that an eruption is imminent. Scientists also monitor changes in gas emissions from volcanoes. Volcanoes emit various gases, including water vapor, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. Changes in the amount or composition of these gases can indicate that magma is moving beneath the surface, and that an eruption may be on the way. In addition to these physical signs, there are also some chemical indicators that can help scientists predict volcanic eruptions. By analyzing the chemistry of volcanic gases and the composition of volcanic ash, scientists can get a better understanding of the magma chamber beneath the volcano. If the chemistry of these materials indicates that the magma is becoming more viscous or thick, it could mean that an eruption is on the horizon. It's also worth noting that sometimes there are no signs at all before a volcanic eruption. In some cases, volcanoes can go from quiet to erupting without any warning. This is why it's important to have robust early warning systems in place and to educate people living near volcanoes about the risks and what to do in the event of an eruption. Using all of these tools and techniques, scientists are able to develop a comprehensive picture of the volcano's activity and make informed predictions about the likelihood of an eruption. While it's impossible to predict exactly when a volcano will erupt, these methods help us better understand the risks and prepare accordingly. Thanks for watching.